So now I am going to enhance the eyes. I do have 3 techniques that are my go-to techniques for eye. The first one is completely with Photoshop, and then the second one is an action, and the third one is a plugin. So I'm going to show you all 3 right. I'm going to zoom in on his eye. I actually turn off scrubby zoom sometimes because I really like the old zoom way. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to delete everything except for the background. I'll need this to be named background for my action because it requires that, but for this I don't. So the first thing I do is we'll select the eyes, and you can do that several different ways. I really like the quick selection tool, so I use it a lot. And then I'm going to press Alt to deselect that part. I want to try to get this as accurate as I can. Then I come up to Refine Edge. I'm going to smooth it, and I'm going to feather it a little bit. And I'm going to click OK. Now if you wanted to, at this point, you could save this selection so that you can always have it and come back to it. So I think I'll go ahead and do that. Select, Save Selection, Eyes. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this layer, add a mask, and this is my eyes layer. So as you can see, I have my eyes on a separate layer on top of my background. The first thing I do is come over to my dodge tool, and I'm going to reduce the size of the brush with my left bracket. I'm grabbing my pen, and a lot of times I use my mouse, but today I'm going to use my pen. What tends to be the easiest way to do this is to just do opposite. I'm going to do Control Z, opposite of the catch light. And that's a pretty obvious one in this situation because the catch light is right here. So I'm going to brighten these eyes right here. That would be my first step. If I wanted to, I could also dodge the catch light and make it brighter. I would maybe not even want to do protect tones on that. You could also use a curves or a levels to brighten that. Then I will come over to Filter, Sharpen, Smart Sharpen. This is set from previously, but this is a pretty good setting. You may not want it this sharp. Usually I try to control my dog while I'm doing a tutorial, but today I thought I would just let him bark in the background. He's trying to protect the house from strangers, so I don't know why he thinks he needs to do that, but he is a dog. So anyway, you may hear him in the background. So I'm going to click OK. So as you can see, that is the difference. If you step back from this and you find that it's too much, then you may want to back off. Sometimes when the shot is further away like this, I feel like I need to over intensify it just a little bit so that you can see it, but sometimes it's just too much and I don't like it overdone. But I do like there to be lightness in the eyes and for the eyes to look pretty. Obviously that's the first place that we look at on a person is their eyes. Even if they have abs like this, sometimes we still just look at their eyes first. Okay, so that is my first thing that I would do. Then also with Photoshop, if you wanted to change the color, you could come up to Hue Saturation, and you can zoom in again here, and you can change the color. Oh, I didn't do that right. Hold on a second. Go back to this. Let's just, okay, there's a couple different ways you can do this. Here, I'll show you. I can select the mask and press Control or Command if you're on a Mac, and then click on the mask and it will re-highlight my selection. Then if I press Hue Saturation, it immediately gives me a layer that has it masked off. You can also add the mask later or clip it, but I usually do it this way. So now it's just masked. And then I can either do colorize, but first we'll do it without colorize. And you can see here how you can change it. And you can change the saturation. and you can change the lightness and darkness. The only problem with the lightness is it also takes out the pupil, so you have to be careful about that with this one, with this actual technique. If you were doing a more dramatic, artistic composite, then it might be fun to change the eye color. Normally, it's not something you want to do, but it is fun depending on what you're working on. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. Another thing you can do is you can actually add any of these adjustments. You could do a curves if you wanted to bring out more definition. You can do levels, brightness, contrast. All these can be done with a mask the exact same way I did the hue saturation. So that's how you can do it with Photoshop alone. So now I will show you how to do it with an action. So I'm going to go ahead and delete these, and his eyes are back to normal. And then I come over to Window, Actions, and I have this MCP Eye Doctor, and you can do a Google search for MCP, or I'll put a link below. The Eye Doctor I like, the Dentist I like. These are both good actions, and it's a faster way to do this. I forgot to mention, when you're working with just Photoshop, you can also add a layer and increase the, you can do the same thing and lighten the eyes with the dodge tool, the whites of the eyes, which is something that we'll do with this. And you can see everything. You can darken areas, you can lighten areas, but the Eye Doctor does it also. Let me go ahead and run that action. And when you go back over to your layers, you can see that you have all these layers, and they all have a mask that's 100% black. So you just need to add the white to the mask. If I'm pressing Alt and the mask, you can see it's 100%. So for catch lights, I'm going to come over here. I have a brush. I'm going to reduce the size. This is if you want to lighten the catch lights right here. So you just run that over your catch lights. And then if you come over here, you can see what it's done. Then if I do brighten the iris, I come over here. I make sure I have white right here so that it will paint it white on the mask. Brighten the whites, I can come over here. And then after you do all these, you can back them off if you want to change the opacity. Darken the pupil. Didn't do much, but, and then sharp as attack. I'll just increase this. This will sharpen the whole eye, which actually also makes it a little bit darker. So, and then you can reduce the opacity of any of these if you felt like it was too much. All of them, you can reduce the opacity. View, fit on screen. So you can see how that one works. Okay, so then I have one more that I want to show you. So I'm going to delete all these, and I'm going to make a copy. Come to Filter, Portrait Professional. This is a pretty inexpensive program considering everything that it does. I really like using it for just a quick way to whiten the teeth, enhance the eyes, make the skin look great. I don't really like to change the shape of people's faces, but it does do that too. So here it's basically just got these points that you can use to show where the hairline is. It's gotten really good to where it just picks up everything really well, but sometimes you have to move these little points around. Right now we're going to concentrate on the eyes. We're not going to use the program for anything else. So I'm going to turn off, I usually turn off face sculpt because I just don't like to change the shape of people's faces unless it does have a option for a double chin, which is sometimes kind of helpful to use depending on the situation. But in this case, we're just using it for eyes. So I'm going to turn off everything else. I'm going to show you these eye controls. So it has a master fade. It has an add reflection. So you can add these crazy reflections. I'm not going to do that. Master fade. I'm increasing everything so you can see exactly everything that it messes with. Okay, so I'm backing this off. Whitens the eyes. Brightens the eyes. For the price of this program, it's just pretty amazing, everything that it does. Again, I don't like things overdone because I don't want it to look like, oh my God, that looks so fake, unless I really do want it to look fake. Sometimes if you're just making something artistic, you do want it to be kind of fake looking. But anyway, you can change the eye color, which is kind of fun. I mean, this really does a good job. His eyes look like they are really that blue that sometimes people have. So it's really a lot of fun to try to mess with all this stuff. I mean, it does a great job and it's hardly any effort. So it is a fun program to have. And I definitely love running people through this program just to see how they will look. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the color. Okay, so this is it. And as you can see, it does a good job. It sharpens. It does everything. Okay, so those are my 3 favorite ways that I enhance eyes. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I welcome your comments below. Thank you.